As a guy who's lost 33 pounds or 15 kilograms so far, the main progress you are making weight loss wise is induced by changes in your diet or specifically in your kitchen. So today I've got 3 easy tips for you to follow that made the main difference for my weight loss journey. Tip number 1. Prioritize the big 3. So what do I mean with the big 3? Well, the big 3 are protein, fiber, and volume. And let's start with fiber. Why should you consume fiber if you're trying to lose weight? Because if you eat fiber, your digestion process just takes a lot longer than it would without all the fiber. In turn, you stay full for a long time, so you don't constantly focus on food. The same goes for protein. Protein also is very great to stay satisfied for a long time, mainly because if you eat protein, a hormone is released into your body that actually also is supposed to make you feel more full. So eating fiber and protein in combination is already great. But how can you make everything even greater? You add volume. So usually volume goes hand in hand with fiber. And what do I mean with volume? Well, lots of food for little calories. And that would be something like salad, for example. But if you think about things like sugar-free jello, this would be a great example for a low fiber, high volume option that still is also not bad for a diet, because the volume in the jello actually also will help you feel fuller, but it's still just mainly water. But that's okay too. So for me, following the big 3, protein, fiber, and volume, was a diet game changer, mainly because I did not feel as hungry as I did before, because this was one of my main struggles. I felt hungry and I could not really stick to my diet goals because I was just eating more than I wanted to, because I did not eat the right things. But what do I actually eat every day to follow these rules? Well, for breakfast I start with a protein shake, mainly because it helps me hit my protein goal throughout the day, so I don't have to think about it that much. And I also drink a big cup of water. So this would be our volume and our protein aspect already done. For lunch I would eat a high protein meal, like my high protein lasagna with some veggies on the side, and I've always eaten 2 apples with my lunch for many months now. So this would be our high protein, high volume, and high fiber boxes all checked. So this is something I really try to prioritize, and that just helps me feel full and satisfied at work, so I don't go to the vending machines and buy some snacks. For dinner I pretty much eat the same as I've eaten for lunch, because I meal prep big batches, so it probably is also a high protein meal. And if I feel really hungry, then I probably also eat something like a yogurt and some extra fruit. So this would be a quite normal dinner for me. If you prioritize the big 3, protein, fiber, and volume, then your diet is going to be a lot easier because you won't feel as hungry. This was a game changer for me personally. I commute 2 hours every day, so I really don't have a lot of time to cook after work. Meal prepping actually has become a very important pillar of my progress so far, because meal prepping enables me to hit my protein goal consistently, eat lots of fiber, eat fairly healthy, and still have enough time for other things after work. So this is pretty much why I love meal prepping. It just saves me tons of time throughout the week, and that's why I love it. And I can only advise you to do it if you feel like you don't have enough time throughout your day. Not knowing this last tip has caused a lot of frustration in my life, and it's a very basic tip that, if you know it, will save you so much time and so much frustration. It's quite simple actually. Let's start out with sauces and oil. These are things that all should be weighed out. Why should they be weighed out? Well, these are foods that are very calorie dense, which basically translates to these foods have lots of calories in a very small portion. So it is very important to accurately weigh those out to be able to know how many calories these foods have, so you can actually be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, because as we know, a calorie deficit is the main driver for weight loss. So if you are not in a calorie deficit, you won't lose weight. It's sadly as simple as that. But I actively chose to ignore to track my sauces, to track my oils, and if you eat sauces and oil with every of your meals, it all adds up. This could very much be the difference between being in a calorie deficit or not being in a calorie deficit. So this is something you should really take seriously, because it could really mean you losing weight or you losing no weight. And after consistently following this tip, I actually started losing weight. So if you follow all of these 3 tips that I've just given you, you will have a great time losing weight, and it won't be nearly as frustrating as my initial experience was. So to summarize, my 3 favorite kitchen tips that actually help me lose weight: eat high protein, high fiber, high volume, meal prep if you don't have a lot of time. Lastly, weigh out your sauces and your oil to actually lose weight. Lastly, you are more than the weight on your scale. So even though you might feel a bit frustrated because your weight is fluctuating, if you follow a calorie deficit, you will lose weight long term. You don't have to be too hard on yourself, because weight loss is a very long process that basically overturns your old ways of eating, and that is a big process. So don't be too hard on yourself. Long term, you will lose weight if you are in a calorie deficit, so just chill a little bit. Everything will be okay. If you're looking for high protein meals that actually fill you up during your diets, then you should probably check out my high protein lasagna recipe video that I just released. Everything you need to know is in the video. It was just fabulous. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if this video helped you. See you in the next video. Bye bye.